Hello and welcome. We are here for mapping with the moon. Kelly, I'm so glad that you're joining us today. It's wonderful to see you. And we are in day 4 of mapping with the moon. We have gone through eclipse season together. And now for day 4 of mapping with the moon, we gather when Luna, our moon, is in her 3rd quarter, and on an evening when Jupiter goes direct. This is such an auspicious day. This is a day that is filled with opportunity and with abundance. And the thing about this is that you may not notice the abundance right away. Eclipse season will often bring up these disruptions. We will notice things about our lives that we cannot unsee. Maybe we don't know exactly what that is, but something has become so apparent that we know it's time to make a new choice. And we may not exactly know what that is, but we can sense the feeling. To all of you who are live right now, I am so happy that you're here. To all of you that watch this video later, your presence is still with us. If you're here, go ahead and say hello and let us know where you are tuning in from. So, as we are here for day 4 of mapping with the moon, there's a lot of feelings that are here. We are still in Pisces season. Mercury is retrograde right now. Mercury is in Pisces. And this can lead to communication not feeling, well, it can lead to communication with lots of feelings, lots of intuition, maybe some visuals and this inner knowing, but the words may not necessarily be there. If you are someone who is more comfortable with things being in more of a spiral and not as linear or direct, then perhaps this does not bother you as much. The conditioning that we have, though, wants things to be in a direct line. We want this logical format where if I do this, then this will happen, or this is what is supposed to happen. Additionally, with so much confusion in the collective, we had Neptune move in to Aries, and this is bringing up so much confusion where we're witnessing things where rules aren't being followed, where nothing quite makes sense, where it's hard to articulate things. And then being in Pisces season, we can feel it even more strongly. For me, I like Mercury in Pisces. Maybe it's because I'm a Pisces sun and I've been doing this intuitive psychic work professionally for a long time now. But I enjoy the metaphysical and the symbolic and the poetic. And I can also see that that it can be frustrating at times when we're in that state of mind that wants something to happen a certain way right away. And what comes to mind as I say that right now is the illusion of control. The illusion of control is the illusion of relationship that really wants things to be a certain way. And this is when we start trying to micromanage the universe. And when we do this, we can unknowingly block all of the possibility and all of the abundance that is coming in for us right now. And what I would like to ask you, because this call, we are in the third quarter moon. Jupiter is going direct. This means that blessings are coming online. Wisdom wants to be seen. And I want to ask you, through this eclipse season, have you noticed anything that you want certainty on? Anything that you might be micromanaging or controlling? And we can find these answers when we can look at what our relationship is like with the unknown, or the judgments that we have toward certain situations in our own lives. So what I'm speaking about here is perhaps there's something that you have wanted, and maybe this is recognition at work, or it is for the people that you love who are in your lives to acknowledge you or see you. Maybe it is to have a connected relationship with another person. Maybe there is something that you are having a really hard time with, something that's really hard to let go of, grief that's coming up. We want to honor all of this. And by acknowledging it, you allow yourself to see the opportunities that the universe is bringing to you. Perhaps the thing that you want, maybe it's time to take a different approach with that. Perhaps instead of seeking these external circumstances, you are asked to give yourself that personal validation as well. And maybe you just need to grieve. Now, whether you have lost someone, whether this is a person or an animal, or maybe a relationship has dissolved, maybe you're grieving who you used to be, maybe there's a lot of change and that just feels unstable, unpredictable. With eclipse season coming in, these are themes, this unpredictability, how we deal with uncertainty. This is what comes into play, and this is an opportunity that the illusion of control brings us. And we're being asked to look at what we are judging as being bad in our own personal lives. And I'm not talking about what other people are doing. I'm not talking about what's happening on the world stage. Right now, we are asked to look at ourselves and our lives and notice where we might hold judgment. And I understand that that can feel really uncomfortable to do. And just noticing where we have judgment and what these stories are connected to can be so, so important. This gives us a gateway into attaining the wisdom that we need and in receiving the abundance that is here for us. To receive that, there's something that this third quarter moon is asking us to let go of. This could be an identity. This could be your fear of how others perceive you. Whatever it is. So I'm guided to take a pause and take a sip of my tea and look at the chat. Please let us know where you are tuning in from. We're so happy you're here. Tamika, I'm so glad to see you. And Kelly says, I feel so frustrated with coworkers not following rules. And I had to bite my tongue so many times lately while I work my butt off and they don't. I want to have recognition for all my hard work. Ugh. And then she says, let go of my frustration. Wow. I'm sure that we can all relate to what it is like to see shortcuts happening around us, bypassing around us. But more than that, we can identify with what it's like to not receive the recognition that we deserve. And so Spirit is asking me not to jump into fixing these things, but for us to sit in it. I know, fun call. This is what you tuned in for, but we will be moving into some wisdom. But part of the experience that we're having is to be with what's happening, noticing our judgments and the emotions coming up around it, whether it's frustration or anger, sadness. When we can sit with ourselves and meet ourselves, it is such an act of self-love, because so many of us grew up being told your emotions are too much. We're told that we have to fake it until we make it, all of this stuff. But right now, you are allowed to be real. So I'm going to check Instagram. Casey, I am so happy that you are here too. I'm so happy to see all of you. Okay. So what is coming up for all of you as you hear this? What feelings are present with you right now? What we are guided to let go of, Spirit says, is not the frustration itself, is not the anger itself, because doing so, that would be a form of self-abandoning. Instead, we are asked to let go of whatever need we are unconsciously putting on someone else. Okay, so a lot of information is coming in for me right now. So let's talk about abundance. That's where we're guided to start. And Jupiter, who is going direct today under this third quarter moon, Jupiter is a representation of abundance, of blessings, of spiritual wisdom. And Jupiter brings blessings as well. And when Jupiter is retrograde, that's a time of introspection. That's a time to really be with your philosophy, how you see the world. And that's a time where we are cultivating abundance, but it's more internalized. It's more a part of our inner world. It could be more spiritual and not necessarily right there in the external and the material for us to enjoy. And the opposite of abundance is lack, is scarcity. And while it is a part of being human to have needs, because we are here to collaborate and to co-create and play together, what happens is when we go into a situation where we have expectations, where we are attached to something happening a particular way, what happens is it puts a lot of pressure on that situation, and it makes it really hard to receive that abundance. And I'm not just talking about money or wealth. Those are just a couple of kinds of abundance. I'm talking about success. I'm talking about the love and the joy, feeling that connection with others, that creative feeling that we get when we are inspired and moving and our gifts are there. So when we go into something with expectations, it puts a lot of pressure and attachment, and it can block abundance. And it's great to just be aware of what that is, because this can help us to see whatever story or wiring we have with this. So I'm going to take another sip of my tea and check in with the chat here. Ruby, I am so glad that you're here too. I'm so sorry you haven't been feeling well. Health is a form of abundance as well. And when we have an illness, that is the body's way of aligning in most cases. It's purging, it's letting go. It is aligning to that higher frequency. When I am not feeling well, I remind myself of that, and I also take it as a sign to rest and to recalibrate. So, and she says, it's okay. It's kept me from some interaction with scarcity. I love that, Ruby. See, like you're already on the mend. And you would know that more than anyone, because you are a healer and you support people with their bodies. So Tamika says, circumstances aligned with all these deadlines with the new puppy. Wasn't sure. So she's talking about potty training the puppy needing constant care and love, all beautiful, but no sleep, not being able to create a pattern, a plan, feel so scattered, not meeting any of my needs or expectations, feels like failure, though I know logically, just spinning out, well, I guess trying to sit with it in the flow. So with a situation where we do choose change, and I'm all about change, I'm always asking us to notice where we can align more. And part of the illusion of control is that we can be so afraid of change because we like things to be a certain way. And with this, what can happen is that when we do choose change, we can start to apply that controlling nature to it. So this example of Tamika with a new puppy is really good because it was a choice to adopt this puppy. And for everyone listening, whatever is happening in your life right now, there is a choice that is at play here. So in Tamika's case, we have a clear choice of adopting a puppy. And when we adopt a puppy, we connect with our reasons for doing that. Like, there's so much love, they're adorable, we get to take care of someone, we're creating this long-term bond. It's this beautiful experience. And puppies are a lot. They're babies. They need so much from us. And even if we know that going into it, being in the experience of it is, oh, wow, like, what have I done? And so many of us, even if you make a choice, like maybe the choice is to move. Well, we know that moving can feel really unstable, or maybe you are leaving a career or a long-term relationship, and you know that it is for the best, but when you're not quite where you want to be, like when you're in that liminal, when the change is unfolding, you just committed, you made the choice, things start to become unpredictable. You don't quite know where your footing is. It's like you're between both worlds. In Tamika's case, the puppy is not trained yet. They're still getting to know each other. So they're in the liminal and that transition with that. So with what is happening right now, we just went through eclipse season. So much was revealed. There may have been clarity. There may have been a sense of unease, of just realizing this situation is not for me anymore. Or I really need to change my approach with this situation. So with this subject of abundance, maybe you have been feeling like you are stepping more and more into your worthiness. Maybe you are holding yourself differently. Maybe you have different boundaries now than you used to. Maybe you see how there are certain situations where you do need to voice these new boundaries, or maybe you're seeing a pattern on how you are with conflict. The third quarter moon brings up so much about conflict, how we deal with conflict. It lets us know what it's time to let go of. So I'm going to check the chats. How's everyone doing? Okay. Tamika says, so true. Love the red. So pretty. Thank you. And yes, it's really funny when we can accept what's happening. And acceptance is a huge part of receiving. So a big message that wanted to come through today, with Jupiter being direct and on this third quarter moon, is to notice how we may block ourselves from receiving. The things that you complain about, it could let you know where it's time for changes to be made, where it's time for a new approach to be made. But when we complain, we are really pushing all of the good stuff away. And again, this doesn't mean to to pretend like it's not happening, to put that frustration away. But it's time to really look at what's going on beneath the surface. And again, to look at the expectations that we have of other people. Like, imagine the freedom you would have in your life if you practiced acceptance. Because maybe in Kelly's case, and I'm bringing this up because she had commented on our live feed, maybe before the dynamics at work were great, but now with the person she's become, it's not feeling good anymore, and she's noticing that her patience is not where it was before, and she finds herself working harder and harder and not getting the recognition. So this is a really beautiful way that the illusion of sacrifice and the illusion of control work together, because sometimes we think, if I just keep doing all of these good things, then all of these amazing things are going to happen. Or if I just keep working hard, people are finally going to recognize me and see me. And the thing is energetically, that registers as having a need that you want others to fill. And we've all done this. And yes, like they should see how hard you're working, but for whatever reason, this situation that's here is guiding you to a deeper purpose. Like, there is abundance in this, and the abundance is, stop trying to prove your worth. Just stop it. Go in, do your job, do your thing, and let it go. And again, this applies to everyone. If you are someone who just goes to work harder and to do a better job, if there's any part of you that might be trying to prove your value, or you want people to respond to you in a certain way, first of all, love yourself. Love yourself and see how hard you are working. Validate yourself and give yourself a break. And it could mean that other opportunities are around the corner. Often it does. It's just saying, I'm not going to interact with this pattern in this certain way. So I'm going to check the chat. Let's all just like take a deep breath together. I love holding the exhale longer. Well, not holding, like just exhaling longer than the inhale, is it's very soothing, especially for those times when the frustration is building. Okay. Helene, I'm so glad you're here. So Helene says, I've entered a phase where I just want to focus on me. Things I want to take care of around the house and spend time with family and friends. Not seeking to be in a relationship has been freeing. That is amazing. Candace, I'm so glad that you're here, and we've been going, but we're only 31 minutes in, but I'm so glad that you're here too. Yeah, so we're going to go into the collective reading here. And before we do, there are some questions that are coming in for you. So here's what Spirit wants us to do. If you're able to, so don't do this if you're driving, take a moment and center yourself. And I want you just to be aware of what your posture is like right now. Be aware of how your body feels, any emotions or thoughts that are circling. We were asked to sit with uncertainty. And really, we were asked to make peace with these feelings of frustration that we have. And this peace, and it's not just frustration, it's grief, it's any of these emotions. And these can be emotions that we would say are on the more pleasant side. But it's just making peace with where you're at right now. So let's all tune into what's present with a deep breath. And now go ahead and imagine well, don't necessarily imagine, but you can recall the wisdom that has come up for you over the last few weeks with eclipse season. What has come into your awareness about yourself? And where are these big emotions present? Or where do you feel like you have to solve a problem or be a certain way? As you sit with this, connect with how your body feels in this moment. Notice your posture. You slouched over? Are you really making an effort to be upright? Is there an illusion of perfection happening here? Just be with it. And this could be something that maybe you've already made peace with it, or you have a healthy mindset about it, but it's still kind of there. We're not stirring it up, we're just acknowledging. And now we check our posture and we refine our stance. So make sure that your legs aren't crossed, open body, shoulders back. And now take your arm like we did on the last activation that we did, and you're just going to move it across your body like so. And if your eyes are closed, you may need to open to see what I'm doing. This is creating a boundary so that you can observe and not absorb this situation. What would be possible if you accepted this and knew without a doubt that this was happening for your highest and greatest good, and that all of the wisdom, all of the goodness, all of those emotions, that all of them were being transmuted into your best path and your abundance. So let's sit with that. I observe. I release the need to absorb. And so it is. Wow. So if you feel called to share, I would love to hear about what that experience was like for you in the chat or later. I always love hearing from you all. And this is Similar to the work that we do in Reclaim Your Lunar Flame, this is the 9-month initiation that I told you all about last week. We've already had applications coming in. I'm reviewing applications for this experience at the end of the month. And if you are feeling called, go ahead and apply. I mean, why not? And if you love hearing weekly guidance and getting daily reminders and a monthly forecast and people to talk about it with, this is in the Clarity portal as well. And now I'm going to do the drawing that I told you all about. So I have, for those of you who have shared on your social media this event, or shared the replay with a friend, or tagged people in this post, I have a spreadsheet of all of your names and the times that I've heard from you on here. And I'm just going to go over here. I'm going to draw a number, so just bear with me as I do this. Okay. Tamika, you won. So what Tamika won is I am making her a special new moon transmission and audio recording just for her. And this is going to be right on time for our new moon. And next week we are going to have our mapping with the moon under the dark moon and new moon, where we really get to plant the seeds of our dreams with this Pisces new moon that we have. So now I'm going to read the chat, and then we're going to move into our collective reading, and then we're going to do the card pulls, and I'm shuffling as I talk. So let me see what everyone said. Ruby says, I feel more activated in my heart space. That's so beautiful. And Candace says, I'm so grateful for myself and where I'm at. I can see how I created the space I'm in and how to continue to create a more aligned space throughout love, light, presence, and guidance. That is incredible. And because really, like, we are making choices all the time. And sometimes we don't even realize that we're making choices. And the same patterns and circumstances come up over and over again. And choices that we used to make may have been great for where we are at. But now, Candace, and for everyone here, like, there's this new space, this new person, and these new choices that get to be made. And that is a huge wisdom for this third quarter moon. And with Jupiter going direct, is that if something isn't working for you, well, you can make new choices, and it may not be a one and done. For me, and for so many of us, it's a daily commitment. It is this daily refining. I recently turned 44. I had a birthday, and I was reflecting over the past year, as I always do. And I got to see just how much I've come to love discipline and devotion, and what it is to just make a choice every day and to do my best every day, even on the days I don't want to. And sometimes my best looks different than other days, and that is okay. The choice is still there. It's still being made, and that includes that love and that acceptance of myself as well, and the acceptance of where I'm at and where things are. And in martial arts, I experience that all the time, just thinking, I don't know how I am going to ever learn how to use this spear and for it to look the way that my junior wants it to look. And I remind myself, hey, it could be like 10 years from now. So just be okay with where you're at. So Tamika, it is special. I'm so glad. And yes, Candace, it is a wonderful gift. And Tamika says, I love the questions to ask self. What came up over the last 3 weeks? Really interesting answers came up to think about and be proud of too. I love this because we need to celebrate our progress. So often we just, like, we have a bad day at work, or somebody that we are in, and we're in physical space with, whether we live with them or we work with them, they're in a bad mood. We let that impact us. World events, like, we can feel all of it, but we also need to be aware of what's happening in our lives and the choices that we have there. And Candace says, yes, it's a daily choice to my commitment. I love that so much. Okay, everyone on Instagram is very quiet, but that's okay. All right, so let's start our collective reading. So let's just take a moment. I'm going to take a sip of tea. Let's take a moment to tune in. And I'm going to do the prayer that I like to do to just get us all centered in our energy. Divine Creator and Creatrix, Divine Creator and Creatrix, Divine Creator and Creatrix. Our personal teams of guides, allies, and ancestors. Our personal teams of guides, allies, and ancestors. Our personal teams of guides, allies, and ancestors. Our higher selves, our higher selves, our higher selves. And of course, our moon goddess. Thank you so much for being here today, for being here with all of us today. I request spiritual assistance in creating this transmission and this collective reading. I ask that everything I say is accurate and authentic and supports all who listen to this in navigating with trust and with love and with confidence and with receiving all of the blessings that are available for them. Dear ones, whether you are live or you are listening to the replay, set your intention right now. What would you love to receive? Is there a question that you have? Let's acknowledge this. We take a deep breath in and out. So it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now I'm going to start to lay down some cards. Okay, so as I tune into this collective reading, I love to use tarot cards to do this because it gives me something to respond to and anchor to. And I am seeing that you are at this place, and this is very third quarter moon, where you are seeing that there are a couple different sides to you, at least, and that maybe you're sitting on the fence about something, or you're trying to walk two different paths. And this could be maybe like doing something that like it's not working, it's not quite right, but for some reason, this is what's coming up right now. And an example of this could be staying in a relationship that isn't working. Like, it's not working. That staying in it, you are disrespecting yourself, but you do this because it's what's familiar, and there's some healing that needs to happen. That's a pretty heavy example, but it's a good one. Is it something that we can all relate to or have empathy with, or we know someone who is moving through that, and we have empathy for that. And this can also be that you're aware of new ways that you would like to show up, and these positive changes that you're making for yourself, but you're still a little scared and you haven't committed or dipped your toe into what is beyond the surface here. And this third quarter moon, she is asking us to be honest with ourselves and to trust and to really be with, why wouldn't you give yourself every opportunity in the world? Why do you stay in situations that dim your light, or that you know it's out of integrity? Like, what is it about that that keeps you in? And maybe it's time for some deeper healing. And a part of that deeper healing is acknowledging. It's releasing that, because in this third quarter moon, we acknowledge and we release. Spirit also wants us to know that the things that we feel defeated about or humiliated about, or we have like the fear of humiliation or defeat, that's actually a gift right now. I mean, wow. So this goes in with the message that came in earlier with the transmission here, that the frustrating situations, the grief, or the harsh judgment that we put on ourselves, it doesn't mean continue to engage with those patterns, but it does mean, like, hey, this is a contrast experience that is giving you a clue for where you want to be. Abundance can come in through contrast. We have the law of polarity. That is the universal law that tells us that everything has an opposite. So right now, if lack is coming in some way, or it's scarcity, or you're hanging on to something that you know doesn't work for you, could be a bad habit, again, the relationship, it could be how you interact with a certain situation. It is time to really evaluate that and to become the person who does not have those needs. Spirit wants you to ask yourself, who are you becoming? Who are you in the process of becoming? Who do you want to be? And a light is being shed on how maybe things that we thought were so great, we're seeing that it's not for us. This could be having a more traditional kind of life. This could also be looking at leadership right now and thinking, this was supposed to be an ideal. These are the upstanding people I'm supposed to aspire to be, and just saying no. A lot of what's happening is the conditioning that we've had around what success is, what abundance is. We are seeing that it's not for us. Like, there is something else that's out there. So for those of us who are mystically inclined, those of us who are spiritually inclined, those of us who know that there's so much more to life than what we're being fed, pay attention to that. And if you feel in any way humiliated because you're not measuring up to that, let that shit go, because it is not for you. It's not supposed to be for you. You are paving another way, and Spirit sees you moving from where you are right now into a new way of being, into a new frequency, into a life where you are not your self-worth is not dependent on what other people think of you. Into a place where you are sovereign, where you care deeply for other people and not at the expense of yourself, where there aren't these expectations and these hooks that are in relationships, where you get to truly be yourself and be free and be in acceptance. You are moving toward that, and it may not be a wild change overnight, but the circumstances in your life right now are guiding you to that. And Spirit wants you to just be really authentic. And we can do that through being honest, through sitting with how we feel, through acknowledging what's coming forward for us, by noticing if we're being fake or superficial, just noticing, saying, okay, what happened? Why did I shrink when I was with that person? What was really going on? Noticing what battles you are yours to fight and which ones are yours to observe and not absorb, how you deal. And the outcome for this, as we go into the next week, it's more uncertainty. And this uncertainty is here because you are determining your future through what you are moving toward. Wow. So what did that bring up for everyone? Let's all just take a deep breath. I'm going to take some tea. I am getting my other deck out to do those mini card pulls. Ruby, I saw that you're saying you'd love one. I'm pretty sure you're talking about the mini readings that we're about to do. That's great. Sandra, I'm so glad you're here. Candace says, I think it's death of old self for me, and ego has still been holding on. I love how aligned we are. I've been feeling this so hard and talking about it for at least the last month. Yes, Candace, you and I, we've been in sync for a long, long time. It's so wonderful. Wow. So let's all just feel into what came up for us through the reading. Ruby says, such a good reminder to decide who to want to be and make choices to support that. Yes, because you can. Don't let anyone tell you who you're supposed to be or what you're supposed to want. We're all going to do this, but it's good to just realize when it's happening and to tune in to something else and to make the choices that support who we want to become. Helene says, I've been learning to receive. Honestly, it's been beautiful and loving, yet surprisingly a bit overwhelming. Totally. It is overwhelming to receive, because when we receive, we're we have to be vulnerable and available and open to receive. We're not exactly in control when we're doing that, right? I'm so glad that you're letting yourself receive. That's amazing. And check Instagram. Okay. All right. I still don't see any comments there. All good. Okay. So Ruby, I have you first for wanting a card. If anyone would like for me to pull a card for them, just let me know. I'm not going to do it without your permission, so I'll need to see it. Okay, Candace, I see your request. You'll come after Ruby. And Kelly says, leaving more space to feel my worth since I've come a long way with my spiritual journey. Yes, Kelly, you really have. And I'm going to say that with your work, people are probably on a very, very different path than you. So it can be tough to spend time, especially when it's a work situation, with people who are at just another level than you. It doesn't mean that you're good or better than them or anything. It's just objectively speaking, you're on another level. Your consciousness is in another place, and just adjusting your expectations. And you probably already do this, but I love bringing my spiritual practices into the most mundane things, like driving my car, cleaning the house, different things. Barbara, I'm so happy to see you. Okay, so let me know if you want a card. Ruby, you're getting us started. This one's for you. So Ruby, your card says change your focus. And my feeling is since you felt your heart really activate when we did the activation earlier, is to just really be with your heart. You mentioned that you weren't feeling well too. There's some grief that's happening. Your body is helping you do this. It's expanding your heart, and just to really keep the focus on what feels best for you, like where your heart feels the most open and activated. And when you notice that your focus isn't there, it's like, okay, law of polarity, cool. What feelings are coming up? Feel them, notice them. If there's a story that's coming in, and what I mean by that is all the mental backstory that we give to any emotion or whatever you're telling yourself you can't do, redirect your focus and remember that you can choose to be who you want to be and the choices that you make every day. That's a great one for us to get started with here. Okay, so Candace is up next. Candace, as I'm clearing my throat, your card is throat chakra. So this is about your writing. This is about your speaking. This is about realizing that your point of view and your authentic approach to things, it needs to be heard from you. And whatever you are talking about, you are the vessel that this gets to come from, and it's going to land with the right people who are here to hear that from you. Sandra, here's yours. Sandra, your card says sadness and isolation. And what I'm seeing as I look at this card is we have this man who's in fetal position, and he's upside down here. And then up here we have him. It looks like he's under like an eclipse. And he's just like, okay. So the sadness and isolation, it really is here for your betterment, for you to be with yourself and to realize, hey, I am growing something, I am becoming someone, and to really keep your eye on the prize, like who you're becoming, and just to continue to surrender and grow, and noticing that, yes, when we become someone new, even if we've been doing it for a while, but when we make a new commitment to do that, of course there's going to be sadness, and we may feel isolated because we're different, and the things that we were doing, the people we were spending time with, things shift. And of course there's going to be sadness that comes with that. That's grief, but it's all for a higher purpose. Something big is growing through you, and just use those emotions as compost for what you are building and growing and creating. And earlier in the transmission, and we went into that deep. So definitely listen to the replay there if it feels aligned. Okay, Helene, this one's for you. Helene, your card is love. And we have this couple here, and both of them are like they're having fun, they're in love, they're both dressed. The way that they're dressed, and I know this is the deck, by the way, I'm using the Psychic Tarot for the Heart Oracle by John Holland. and this is just the artwork that's with the card, but bringing it up like how they're dressed. This is a time for you to really be in your self-expression, how you dress, what you're doing, just letting this side of you just like, hey, this is me and this is what I'm doing. And like any like parts that you would say are eccentric, let that out there, because that calls in the right people who are aligned to you and your vibe. No more trying to be like anyone else. You already mentioned that earlier, so I'm just mirroring that back to you. But love, love, love yourself. Let yourself thrive. It attracts all the right people. I'm going to see if there's anyone on Instagram. Let's see. Casey, yes. Okay, Casey, your card is release. And I love this card. Just looking at it, because it's so intense. Like he's like, oh, but his heart is out and he is ready. You're in this place of divine surrender, and all you have to do is release. All you have to do is let go. Whatever you are holding on to, there's an illusion that you have to keep it all together, that it's up to you. And the thing is that's not true. That's something that's ready to be released. It's been weighing heavily on your heart, and it's time, and it's time to accept that. And just, so whatever comes in about needing to be released, that's the thing. And the card here is the number here is 13. This is the gate of listening in human design. And this is, so pay attention to whatever dialogue you have, that inner dialogue that's happening, that's telling you you have to hang on, or that's afraid to let go. And also listening to that higher self as well, and really taking the feedback that the universe is giving you. I'm going to see. Okay. Who else would like a card? Let me see. Ruby says she was over eager. Barbara, I'm so happy you're here. Okay, at T Boric 8524, this one is for you. Your card says rebuild, number 16. And again, this, you have gone through something that, my feeling is that it just leveled you out. And you have been in this process of rebuilding and moving on. And Spirit is asking you not to guard your heart anymore, to pay attention to maybe who you're giving it to and what you're putting your energy into, but to let you know that, as I'm fixated on these angel wings here. This is telling me that you are protected in this time of rebuilding, and to practice discernment about who you collaborate with, who you move forward with, but also what you are building and moving toward. Very beautiful. There's lots of divine support around that. Kelly says, yes, I'm the weird one at work. Totally. So own that, rock that. And it's like, yeah, see, I'm the weird one at work and I'm doing my job, but the thing is that there are some people who just like, they're not able to see us. So they may not, well, obviously, like they don't realize they're dealing with like a wise person who has all this experience and knowledge, but and that could be an expectation. Like it does hurt to not be seen by people, but how can people see you if they don't even know what they're looking at? So this is something I have to remind myself of as well. It's like, give people grace, because sometimes we our minds will only show us what we're able to see and perceive. So Tamika says, I received all this input from a trusted and admired sources, and I realized I'd bypassed myself in the past, and all this input pointed to a specific decision, but I still had to find my own answer during a time I felt really disconnected from my inner voice and feelings. Totally. And I love that you noticed that you were bypassing yourself and you made new choices. And sometimes we can feel really disconnected because maybe we're used to having all of this support and input from others, and self-abandoning can feel comfortable. But you're in a place where that's not comfortable anymore. And that's amazing. It really is. So Tamika, this card is for you. New vitality, number one. I know you have a puppy at home, so totally new vitality energy. But this is also showing that you're at this new phase in your life and in your growth where so much has been released. There are new chapters that are happening, and you're singing your own song instead of the song that other people want you to sing. That's what's coming in. Barbara, your card said, take the lead. Number 3. And I am feeling like it is just time to shine. In this image, we see fire coming out of this person's hand. And this is showing me that there is so much creativity. It's something that you're making, it's your writing, it's something that is coming from this heart wisdom that you have through your life experience that wants to be seen and is here to lead. Now, with this, I'm also seeing that with all creation, there is destruction. So there's something that it needs to go. And a couple sayings are coming in right now. So I want you to feel in with what is best for you. But there's this saying, burn the ships. And I think that's from Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich or something, but so they wouldn't go back to where they were, they burnt the ships when they got to where they were going. So it's either that's the approach that's needed, this full on devotion, and there's also this sense of don't burn bridges. But what I'm feeling is there's a way to move forward and to be fully committed without burning the bridge, and to just trust yourself and your leadership on that. And whoever you might be advising right now too. So I'm so happy to see you, Barbara, and happy birthday to you. As I remember, we're both Pisces. Teresa, I already grabbed your card. Let me go over here and check Instagram. Okay. And Kelly, well-deserved reward. This is your card. So look at what this person has built. They're standing on top of the mountain. They're in a power pose and they are looking over everything. This is a stance that you get to take with everything from now on. People may not see the expertise that you have, but it is absolutely there, and you get to acknowledge it within yourself. And if there's something that you aren't giving yourself that you absolutely could, but maybe like one example of this, that I don't think this is the one for you, but there's this thing that some people do, like if they're tired, it's like, I haven't earned the right to rest. Like, this toxic kind of thinking, like that's an extreme example, but someone on this call needs to hear this. But for you, Kelly, if there's something that you can give to yourself that you absolutely could, but you're not for whatever reason, give it to yourself. Start treating yourself with that acknowledgement and that respect that you would like for other people, and you'll be amazed at what happens. And a well-deserved reward is absolutely on its way. Candace, you are so welcome. Ruby says, I absolutely love my card. I'll meditate on changing my focus. Yes. Barbara says, so many changes coming so fast. Yes, we talked about all of these changes and the wisdom that's come up and the contrast that's come up from eclipse season and beyond that. So many big things. So Candace says, my question was, what's my next step? And that's where the laughter came from. Yes, and it's like throat chakra, right, girl? Kelly, I love these cards too. Helene says, awesome. Thank you. Sandra says, thank you so much. This speaks perfectly to me. Sadness and isolation are exactly how I've been feeling at work, and it's forcing me to detach and return my energy to me and my life on me and take my power back. These emotions have been my biggest teachers during eclipse season. That is so, it's so wonderful where when we have an emotional experience, or there are things that our junior's the tender word that I use for ego, would judge as bad. When those things happen, it's amazing to just say, yes, like this is a teaching moment and I'm sitting with this. Like this is how we compost all of this to get to where we are going. And in Sandra's case here, where she's feeling the sadness and isolation at work, she's like, you know what? I am going to return my energy to me and focus on me. That is the pathway for her abundance. And it's a lot of what we talked about in the beginning of the transmission about how we can be attached to certain situations and how it really does reside in us and how we choose to use our energy. Yes. So, oh my gosh, Joni, I think this is you, J Bethel 1. Okay. So your card says dedicated effort, number 8. Wow. So you have been working really, really hard. There is a masterpiece that is in motion here for you. And so much is coming to the surface. So much wants to be seen. And you are guided to really focus on yourself and what you're building with all of this energy, like what creatively wants to come through you, because it's meant to come through you. And this dedicated effort, this means that some days you may not feel like showing up and putting your energy into the life that you're building, the masterpiece you're creating, but you can show up anyway, just as you are. This isn't about perfection. This is about just making that progress. And what's coming in right now is every masterpiece was a divine mess in the making. So, and it's that mess part that's what makes everything so intriguing. That's what makes it art, and that's genius. So you get to stay focused on what you are building and what is coming through you, and to really be relentless in your commitment to yourself and to trust that. Aw, you are so welcome, Teresa. Love you too. Tamika says, wow, that was unexpected, but great to hear. Barbara, I love you too. Love. There's so much love on this call. Yes. And oh, that's so wonderful. This is a path that you're on right now. Wow. Ooh, good. Tingles. Okay, let me check Instagram to see if anyone over here wants a card. I'm not seeing it, but I am happy for everyone. Okay. So this was mapping with the moon day 4. where we tapped into cultivating abundance in times of contrast and finding that opportunity and our gateway to abundance, and how abundance doesn't have to be what we were told it was by people who we don't respect. I'm talking about some of the leaders, or society in general. Abundance is, and success, that is unique to you. And it's about having your focus on what that is, what that means to you, really being with any of those frustrating or messy emotions, whatever is present, and using that as compost for what you are building and moving forward. And it's about observing and not absorbing, having that boundary in place. Wow. So Jupiter going direct. I'm excited to see what this brings forth for everyone, as we still have one more meeting of mapping with the moon. We're going to be in a new moon, and this is where we really get to plant the seeds of our dreams. So be in this contemplation. And if you loved the work that we do in here, my Reclaim Your Lunar Flame initiation is similar to this, and it goes deeper, and it is 9 months of you on your journey, being witnessed by others and staying true to yourself. So if you feel the call, you can go ahead and apply if that feels aligned for you. And as always, in the Clarity Temple, that's our online space in the Clarity Portal. We're going to be, I hope, talking more about this transmission and what's come up from Jupiter direct, and with this third quarter moon that gives us a choice of what we are letting go of and the person we are committed to becoming. So thank you, dear ones. I will see you next week for Mapping with the Moon, day 5 at 6 p.m. Central Time, right here on Instagram, on Facebook, or YouTube. Love you.